So much for artistic integrity. Yesterday, released in 2019, and is directed by Danny Boyle, who's behind such films like Slumdog Millionaire, 127 Hours, Trainspotting, and Sunshine. A very underrated sci-fi picture. And this film stars Himesh Patel, Lily James, Kate McKinnon, and Ed Sheeran. Or as I was calling him for so long, Ed Sheeran, until my wife politely corrected me. Ed Sheeran! I don't know why. I looked at his name, I'm like... That's Ed Sheeran. Yeah. Sheeran. Oh, God. Oh, silly me. Jack Malik is a struggling songwriter looking for a really good gig, and his longtime childhood friend and manager, Ellie Appleton, is there with him. But one day he gets into an accident where he loses a couple of teeth and he gets a concussion. He soon discovers that major pieces of pop culture have been erased from time. Things like Coca-Cola, the Harry Potter book series, and most importantly, the Beatles music. So now Jack is determined to remember all of the Beatles music and produce it on a major scale. Like I said, artistic integrity. The Beatles, probably the biggest pop culture iconic thing that has ever happened on this planet. That is, of course, a subjective idea, but British Beatlemania, the Beatles, they were the biggest thing for decades. Even after they broke up and went their own separate ways, the Beatles remain the biggest pop culture icons on the planet. And the reason why is because their music was so experimental and it lasted for so long. And they were able to adapt their music style for whatever was trending during that decade or during that time. Of course, promoting things like love and peace during wartime probably helped them out a lot. I was always a Beatles fan growing up. My younger brother, he bought the Beatles 1 album, and I hadn't really listened to the Beatles until then, but I just remember popping that into the CD player and just playing that over and over and over again. I love the Beatles. Not saying that the Rolling Stones are bad, just between the two, that's always the debate, right? Is it the Beatles? Is it the Rolling Stones? I always went with the Beatles. My wife goes with the Rolling Stones, so you see, it works. But what an interesting, cool idea that, honestly, I've had this idea before. Wish I would have patented it. Just this mindless dream of, gosh, if I could play music, if I could play the piano or play the guitar, gosh, if I just woke up one day, or if I was able to go back in time and start producing these songs that I love before the groups that I love that performed them started performing them, gosh, it would make my life so much easier because those songs are so great. And that's what this is, for reasons that are never explained in this movie, so please don't go in looking for, okay, is this like a sci-fi film? What's happening? Is this a dream sequence? We never find out. He wakes up and pop culture things like the Beatles never existed. So songs like Strawberry Fields Forever, A Hard Day's Night, Yesterday, people have never heard these before. And he discovers it nonchalantly, just starts playing his guitar and starts singing Yesterday, and everyone, all of his friends, just completely stop, and they just like, no, go on, keep going, that's beautiful. And once he realizes the predicament that he's in, he tries to remember all the lyrics to all the Beatles songs. He starts putting it down on sticky notes, and he starts trying to get these songs produced. And just like any pop culture musician icon today, once you have like one major hit, and you start performing it, and you become like an internet sensation, yeah, you go skyrocketing. That was my idea. I had that idea. Maybe if I was to travel back in time, or maybe if I were to die but then be reborn and live my life again, just with my old memories are still intact, I'd be able to learn how to play the guitar and play these songs, become famous on my own. Good for you, Danny Boyle, for actually making a movie about it and actually doing it, so... yeah. Now, I quite enjoyed this movie. Danny Boyle, he's kind of hit or miss for me. I like the majority of things that he's produced and things that he's directed. There are some films in there, like Slumdog Millionaire, I'm sorry, it just never hit me anywhere, and it won Best Picture, when it really shouldn't have. It shouldn't have even been nominated. Dark Knight should have been nominated in its place, and should have won. But I've noticed something about Danny Boyle, that whenever he directs a lot of the same color palette with all of his films. In all of his films, you see this amber color palette. You see a lot of reds, oranges, really dark yellows, amber colors, a lot of reddish brown colors, and it's actually very soothing. It makes you feel warm, which is really nice, especially at this time of year here in Michigan. And I love seeing this idea that I've been thinking about for quite some time now kind of played out on the screen. I actually really love it. It's a question that a lot of people ask, actually. If the Beatles came out today, if they were able to produce these songs today, would they be as big of a hit as they were back in the 1950s? Oh God, is that when they happened? I hope it is. If not, I'm probably going to be crucified here. So just be nice. I was just guessing. I think it's the 50s, right? Oh gosh, now I need to look it up. Shoot, it was the 60s. See? I corrected myself. Now there's no need for comments. But with how poetic and how great the melodies are in their songs, yes, of course they would be as popular today as they were back in the 1960s. I also like the innocence that Patel portrays with his character of Jack. Because this idea of taking someone else's song and passing it off as yours, someone else's art and passing it off as yours, as an artist, is very shitty. But because Patel is so likable and because he comes at it with such innocence, you go along with him and you have respect for him. You don't dislike him in any way, even though what he's technically doing is pretty freaking shitty. And Lily James here, of course, I love her. I love her in everything that she does. She is so genuine and so sweet with every character she portrays. She plays Jack's manager and they've been longtime friends, but you can definitely tell right off the bat that she definitely wants to be more than that, but doesn't want to at the same time because it's a business relationship. And Kate McKinnon was a breath of fresh air at times. She would come in, and I'm almost certain that she didn't have any lines written for her. She just kind of riffs off the top like that. Be a stereotypical Hollywood agent. Go. And she crushes. And Ed Sheeran, or you know what? I'm calling him Ed Sheeran because that's the Ed Sheeran that I know is Sheeran. I thought he was okay being himself. Or a version of himself. He plays himself here. Sheeran plays Sheeran. You can see at times he's thinking that, well, this Jack guy, he's probably full of shit. He couldn't possibly be coming up with these songs off the top of his head because they're so poetic, they're so brilliant. He tests him a lot, but of course the Beatles had so many songs, he has so much to choose from that, yeah, eventually he's proven wrong, and he goes, yes, okay, you are the best songwriter ever because those songs are wonderful. And this film is also a great look at the need for celebrity. Just celebrity itself, what it is, how damaging it can be, how life-consuming it is, and how it affects friends and family around you. And it puts Jack at a crossroads. He makes a choice whether to go down the celebrity route with all of his songs or go down the path of becoming a school teacher and settling down, maybe with Lily James's character or something like that. It's a nice little conundrum, and I don't know with the decision that's actually made by the end of the movie if it's believable or not. Definitely debatable, and it's definitely not hindering my enjoyment of the film at all, but there's some questions that I have. But overall, I think it's a solid film. I don't think a lot of people saw this one, and I definitely encourage, if you haven't, please do. It's an enjoyable time. You get to hear a lot of great music that actually I haven't listened to the Beatles in a while, and actually I want to go listen to them right now. So I'm going to give Yesterday 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
It's good. It's good.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part in my videos where I randomly select which movie I'm going to be watching next, so let's take a look. Rampage! It's The Rock versus a gorilla versus a wolf versus a crocodile. I think that's all any movie needs, is just those 4 ingredients. I'm sold. It's based on an arcade game that I've never played, so I probably will not get any of the references, and oh boy, now I'm realizing that this is based on a video game. it is probably not going to be good. But we'll check it out next time. Thank you very much, Prudence, for the recommendation. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, please leave your comment below this video or go to my Facebook page, my Instagram, or my Twitter. Leave your recommendation there, and if I have access to it, I will watch, review it, and give you a shout out on the channel. So guys, if you've seen Yesterday, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, please comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And when you're done commenting, if you like what you saw here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button. It helps me out with growing this channel. We are steadily getting closer to 1,000 subscribers, so if you have friends, family members that love hearing people talk about movies, send them over my way and hit the subscribe button and join our community. And as a reward, if we hit 1,000 subscribers this year, which I am very confident that we will, I will watch, review, and record myself watching Arachnophobia, which is a movie that scared me to death as a child, and I have not watched it since, but I'm willing to rewatch it for everyone because you're all great and wonderful and you subscribed to me. Thank you so much. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Rampage. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.